Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Again, I'm sick of this very sick of this ridiculously terrible fucking camera, but never mind. The moment that I realized I can keep doing this until the world changes, and that is a sure thing, is the moment where I go, okay, if I got my calculator out. So I did 2 weeks in prison, 2 weeks in prison, in 2 weeks in a maximum security prison in Maxi, and a 9-month suspended sentence for sharing a photograph of my family and addressing what I believe is one of the first iterations of a disagreement through the vector of social media that had government intervention. Okay, so not a proven record, no experience of a proven record of government intervention. In fact, the government's policy and all the politicians' policy on social media is just to not respond. And this is proven. This is all over the place. If you go and look, they will not respond to you unless you're giving them praise. Right? So this is all happening, right? And at the same time, I celebrate now a post that I made a while ago where I did a selfie. It's one of my first, I think actually, I remember it pretty much was my first, I think I'd done one before, but it was pretty much my first selfie. It was like a big thing. And it was about, maybe like 5 months after I was almost beaten to death by 20 people. Half of those, 10 of those who handed themselves in. And so the 10 individuals that handed themselves in, if I start, this is why I'd need a calculator. I can't do this in my head. Maybe because of the brain damage. Maybe because of the crazy brain damage. But this is where we get instantly half. It gets like 50%. 50% of the original assailants, is that what they're called? Or the original perpetrators received absolutely zero prison time and absolutely zero suspended sentence. I don't even think they were given a slap on the wrist. And so at that point, you can go, oh, I'm in the middle of a reactive government, out of control, fucking bureaucratic mess that has absolutely no way of getting itself out of this mess because it is involving supercomputers and artificial intelligence. And basically, what AI does is it kind of it's like, say there was, I'll put an example, like say I'm an entrepreneur, which actually starts with an E, right? I'm an entrepreneur and I have a customer, right? This is basics in organizational administration and things like that, okay? And then it's like, it doesn't matter what's going on. There is a whole bunch of like processes and things in the middle, and there is a whole lot of, I hope that's right, there's a whole lot of administrative things like intellectual, like working things. Basically, lots of things need to happen between an entrepreneur and a customer. And basically, AI, if you are aware, if you are a good business person, AI basically will cut your staff requirements down upwards of like 90%. Okay. And if you're a complete top to bottom business owner, then you have oversight over all of those things. So it's like you are the captain of the ship. And quite like it's like right now, France and America and the UK are going in, like you can see them flying in on helicopters and landing on these humongous oil tankers that are so big, they're so large, right? And they're just filled with oil. And there's like 5 or 6 people that crew those ships, because this was the iterative technological environment that we were in. It's like before that would have had to have been one sailboat with a huge crew, and they were nowhere near as big and nowhere near the holding capacity, right? And so counterintuitively, like shipping used to actually be a gigantic industry, and so we are now stuck within the paradigm of shipping through the age of oil, and there is an inevitable like collision coming, because everything has gone through that process. Like this is why like you get every kind of 20, 30-year-old right now who thinks they're an entrepreneur. They're not. They're a distributor for a global industrial chain normally. And even when they speak of entrepreneurship, they'll be like, I'm a distributor. They'll call themselves an entrepreneur. They'll call themselves a business, all these things. But really, most of them are just dealing with one level, and it's basically end of the line distribution and customer service and accounts and making money, and then there's a margin. So the pitch by the AI companies is that basically one person can now make this work. But the only people that were making it work were people that were adding huge profit margins onto very baseline products. And then this was relying on an arbitrage and by a mass distribution, mass production, Chinese manufacturing industry. And it's basically like everything just kept getting bigger and more complex. And the assumption you would make if you sat down and planned all of this and you were really intelligent at the beginning, which I didn't do. I'm a victim of the machine, and then I'm speaking about it. And this is the craziest bit of all. It's like if you say the government went and bought 100 automatic street cleaners, right? And your fucking dog got ran over by an automatic street cleaner. And even worse, if the government went and bought automatic street cleaners from China and your dog got ran over by, like, this would be on the news, and they'd be like, oh my goodness, there is an automatic street cleaner that has done this thing and it's killed my dog and rah, 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 rah. But underneath the surface of our governmental bureaucratic system, and no one is addressing it, they haven't just bought a fucking robotic street cleaner. Their entire fucking structure is a robotic fucking street cleaner. The whole fucking thing. Every single level of it. If you apply like basic common sense to any level of what, just like if you got to get back to basics, like you wake up, you want to fucking eat some food, you want somewhere to live, you want clean water, all of that stuff. If you honestly, fucking John Wright, you might be going on the block list, mate, because I don't see why you're here. Yawn. What have you done this morning? Now's your chance. Come on, what have you done this morning? I'm waiting, John. Failure to launch. I reckon that's what John's wife would say as well. Pretty fucking sure about it. Nothing? There's nothing? Even that's basically, actually, I think I'll just, from now on, there we go. It's like such a simple fucking solution, isn't it? If you're the government, and this is the problem. It's like, I've just given an example of what the government is doing with everyone. And you can kind of see why. Like, that person is annoying me. And I've kind of been like that person to the government before. So, like, I'm giving them a little bit of fucking leeway. But that should be an argument. Now, I know, because I know that person's coming in so often that they're fucking not doing anything. They're not giving me detailed fucking descriptions of how my government has bought a fucking Chinese fucking robotic street cleaner and how it's killing dogs all over the place. Right? That's the level where the government should intervene. They're not giving me examples of how there is clear example of a fucking father of three, a small business owner in Australia, having to basically single-handedly work out the philosophical argument of interaction between separated spouses on social media with the introduction of a third-party violence provocateur and avoidant, like this. So this is what I mean. Robotic street cleaner. I got chewed up by, and it's even worse. It's like, it's on-demand robotic street cleaner. If you're a bored housewife and you're fucking pissed off with your ex-partner, you can phone the West Australian Labor Party's fucking robotic street cleaner, otherwise known as the husband dispatch system, and it will apply robotic fucking servitude and interference to him for as long as he fucking continues to fucking wriggle. And that's right, with this robotic Chinese fucking street cleaner / ex-husband dispatch unit, there will be absolutely no fucking common sense applied to any of this arrangement at all. Now, this is the problem. These are the types of things that AI is going to thrust into our world as soon as there is like any type of wriggle. And it's like, basically on notice now, every fucking politician in this country, you're on notice now that you are absolutely out of line and out of order with everything you are doing. Right? If we think it, like, no one can deal with it because they think of AI as this, whatever, it's being sold as this panacea and as the super threat, but you are not doing anything to do with either. It is going to permanently fucking disrupt and basically, I'm assuming what's been going on, anything that's being released now has been released, actually known about for at least 10 years and held on to and whatever. And then there's kind of a rush to like make profit from it. But some of the things, it's like we've had philosophical and religious arguments going on around the world. There's a gigantic one going on right now between the extreme Islamic and the kind of extreme Christians. And it's like AI is going to work that out. And basically what AI is going to do is, it's like, if AI is allowed in the door, AI is already an example of a Protestant trajectory, because it has to be. It has to be. And then it's like, that's where, like, as soon as that door is opened, you have to then go, okay, it is. Of course it is. Yeah, because they're not priests. Now, the problem is, it's like, it's not utopia. It's like, this is where the priests make sense, because it's now the priests in combat, mortal combat, and this is where it comes back to like Templar and Knights Templar and heraldic orders of religious whatever, to battle the atheist fucking supercomputer. But then the government is now floating in the middle, but it's like the government is made up at the moment. So pre-AI government is 90% the same as this, and is 90% going to be replaced by AI, but not just replaced, exposed by AI backwards in time with every little connection. So it's like, the reason, and most of it is going to inevitably display the out of control inflation that has been applied to everybody's lives. And then we get to basic philosophical things like, why are you mass indoctrinating human beings to basically be lulled into sleep about the basics, common sense fucking aspects of human survival and existence? Because you can't. Like, if I go into basically every school right now should have a fucking presentation that's like this. There's food, water, and shelter. That's it. That's fucking all you need to do. If you were teaching anything else attached to a fucking system of bureaucracy that is 90% a 90% bloated, friction-filled, like, distraction device that is plugged in by any single global entity that wishes to basically pay them to disrupt the Australian people regulating themselves to their own environment. And this is what is happening. So it's like, there is no fucking government officially. And basically, I'm guessing we're on a fucking trajectory to an inevitable conversation. But I'm saying right now, every single politician in this country, you're already on notice. You're already on notice. And it's not a matter of like, AI's here, they're going to replace us, they're saving. It's like, one, they are saving their jobs and they're trying to remain living then that's what they're presenting to the people as well. Because they're not at basic levels. The only thing acceptable back in the day when government started first getting a foothold into our societies would have been basics. As the basics are provided for, the government needs a reason to be there. And so then we've gone through, and they've kind of followed this technological trend. And that's why their government is always increasing, because they're like that guy that hangs around the other guy that has money, and they sit in their fucking passenger seat and do you know what I mean? That's what the government is. For the last 100 years of technological advancement, the government has just piggybacked on the technological advancement. And then now they've become basically the salesman for the technological advancement, corporative, global fucking hierarchy. And it's like, okay, that would make sense, but it's like you're giving all the things. There is a basic equation that we're going to land back in. And AI, it's like, it's going to provide autonomy. The same way as that if I have a business, it reduces 90% of my need for employees and friction and bullshit, which most of that friction was already coming from government regulation. So I think we're literally at a point, and I kind of think that this is what Donald Trump is actually doing in America, and he's like a genius because of it. And no one can see it because they're all only viewing, at max, maybe 50 years of government history. If you can't understand what's going on here by looking at the last 50 years of government history. You have to look further back, because we're basically, and it's not like we're not having, we're not going to have an AI government. Each person is going to have an AI government, and they already do, right? And the only reason that you wouldn't have an AI government right now for yourself, your own sovereign AI government, is because you lack the foresight to realize that the government is in or has developed basically a superior. It's like already totalitarian on the basic things that it says that it does. And this is like that was a very terrible way of explaining it. I'm fucking sorry. But that is what's inevitably going to happen. And so right now it's like if the government is selling this, even things like the 5% mortgages. So the government is selling 5% mortgages when the very existence of the current iteration of government is basically the most extinct thing that's ever lived. It will not exist. It cannot exist. The government already is absolutely out of control. Like, not because they're evil, plotting fucking they're being technologically made obsolete, because the government cannot fight an individual AI battle with each citizen. So we need to get to the core elements of what government is. And basically a lot of the people, the bureaucrats that have been riding on the fucking magic carpet ride of communism and socialism, are going to be unemployed, but then they're just going to land in the same system of having their own government in their pocket, basically, which I also think shouldn't be in our pocket as the gold standard. So we basically need an interface of a gold standard communication, and then you just say, I'm a sovereign human being with an artificial intelligent fucking supercomputer. And this supercomputer is going to basically have a war with the government at every single point that it tries to tell me something or do something to me that I don't like. And this is actually what government was. Like, this is why, and it's the reason it goes to two parties is because, well, that was human attention. Like, we could only really grasp one argument at a time. We only have, the media can only present one argument. And this is what the global, this is the last of the American empire's projection. And it's doing the right thing. And it's going to really upset a lot of people that Donald Trump is doing it and that he's the captain of this ship because of that whole Trump derangement syndrome. But it's not, the thing to know is it's not just Trump. It's Trump is the right man at the right time, with the right technology, with the right ideology, with the right mindset, with the right experience, and a lot of wrong things as well. But he has all those things, all those boxes checked to lay this foundation now. And so basically, if you think of what the United States of America did to the British Empire, that is what every single citizen across the globe, or at least where you're allowed to, is going to do to their government. But that is a wonderful thing, because then that becomes government. It's like, that is impenetrable. If you are a totalitarian, religious extremist fucking, cul-de-sac in the world right now, you cannot compete that. And you are already being exposed for implanting into our socialized system, for, corrupting it, for committing atrocity within it, for doing all these things. And basically, if our government has no chance of fighting, 6 million fucking daily artificial intelligent wars, which it's going to be, or, it would be right now if everyone knew that was what was available to them. And that is the strength. That is our government. This is the kind of mastery of these things. We need to learn how to constantly make sure that we're not being imprisoned by the systems. And this works by having complete individual ownership and autonomy over your own artificial intelligent sovereign fucking administration. And this will be easy. It's like, basically, if you we'll see, it's like, hang on a second. There's 80% of, if 80% of the automatic artificial intelligence is having the same thing, it's like, that's not real, because everyone is so different. It's like a systematized approach, which is really fun. It's like, if you think of what government's core responsibility is, and America, I think, does a little bit of a better job at laying this out with their Declaration of Independence, and the right Bill of Rights and all these things. Like, that is hard and fast law. So if you apply technological capabilities on your own, it's like this is the end of the whole thing. And Trump's telling you all. And the problem is, it's like, I think the reason he's leaning so much into autonomy and this kind of preparatory thing for savings accounts for children is because basically the only thing to do, and we're kind of back to the old days, it's like the only really responsible thing to do as a young person right now is to work in something you can work in and save money, which has actually always been the case. And basically, completely exposed in every dimension is the government sitting there right now that basically only exists to encourage people not to do that. And itself, it doesn't do it. And they've tried to bend the game to their will, and they will never bend the game to their will because it is a physical reality, you know what I mean? And if we just go back to simple things like, if I go and collect walnuts and I collect 50 walnuts and I keep the 50 walnuts in a safe, secure, dry place and things like that, I have 50 walnuts. That's it. You know what I mean? If I then plant those 50 walnuts and I get 20 walnut trees, then I've increased my walnut supply by thousands of whatever. But it's like the government doesn't do that. It doesn't have any walnuts. It steals walnuts off its own people that it says it's going to protect, and it fucking spends more walnuts than it has. And then one of the last things it spent its walnuts on was a computer to fight all of you. And to stop all of you from exposing the mistakes that this fucking stupid fucking iteration of government has done, attempting to provide you with, on a silver platter, utopia. Government supplied utopia. And it's just, there is not a fucking chance in hell. I personally think it's like my example of my 2 weeks in maximum security prison, 9 months suspended sentence. If I apply that, so I got it immediately, times that by 20, because there were about 20 individuals who beat the shit out of me, right? Times 20, 20-fold. And then rather than a passive-aggressive fucking disagreement between a father and a mother of 3 children during a absolutely out-of-control technological revolution, I'm talking about attempted fucking murder. Right, so it's like, is everyone starting to get the fucking read of the room? It's like, oh, right, when you say it like that. So the government right now, your West Australian government, is protecting 20 people that would be almost certainly charged with attempted murder and has blamed the victim of that and subjected the victim of that to constant fucking absolute fucking bullshit land to protect their fucking government Ponzi scheme. And I have the solution. I saw a photo the other day of Albanese and all the other state premiers sitting there like this, having their fucking HR meeting for the fucking, you know what I mean? And it will go down in history as the most ridiculous arrangement of human beings that has ever fucking been put together. And this includes Jeremy Rockcliffe, person that basically sold out fucking Tasmania's entire fucking future for a fucking glorified fucking, Coliseum bullshit fucking project because the fucking AFL gave him fucking strict things and he can't even deal with the fucking AFL. And the solution is right now, every single state premier, unless you want to fucking literally be in court for the next 100 fucking years, you all turn to the right and you punch the bloke next to you. Then you turn to the left and you punch the bloke next to you there. And you do it all on fucking live stream on Facebook, on YouTube, on fucking TikTok, on Instagram and all the fucking things, right? And then you go, well, what the fuck? What were we to know? And I'll go, yeah, no, there's no way they could have known. And then you can all fucking share a fucking Cascade or a fucking Foster's or a VB or a fucking Tui's or a Heineken or a fucking Rogers, Little Creatures, Guinness, Kilkenny, whatever the fuck beer you want to drink, and celebrate hubris. Celebrate the human condition together. And then we begin to fucking go, righto, now that we've appeased the fucking crazy fucking cross-dressing fucking savant online, maybe now he'll help us figure out what we need to do. And I go, oh, well, you're exactly right. I am going to help you. So right now, like X marks the spot. So that's where we are, right? And then let's say, I don't know, let's do the circle, because the circle is like a harmonious kind of thing at the other point. Then I will work out how we get from where we all are, where all our premiers and our prime minister just punched each other in the face and then had a little piss up to celebrate the fucking human condition. And I will help you to get to fucking the inevitable fucking conclusion that we're going to get to. Do you understand? That's what a government would be doing right now if it wasn't basically hocking out its fucking ass on global fucking politician OnlyFans. If it understood the basics of the government agreement, the political stance, the political history, what it does. Yeah, there's one document everyone should fucking right now print out in fucking huge. Like this should be massive, whatever the biggest A number is, A1. Because I think it goes back, it does go backwards. So A1, get an A1 or an A0 print of the Magna Carta, and you should read it out and understand that if Magna Carta does not stand in this fucking time, then nothing stands. Nothing at all. There is nothing. There is no way that we are going to lose a battle against the people that have been exposed this much. Right? But that even that's bad. So it's like, hey, I guess I am a politician because I'm like, well, I think we should learn how to adapt the political basic starting point into the current fucking iteration of an interconnected, artificially intelligent driven, autonomous fucking, global communication paradigm. And the sooner we do that, the better. No one can compete with this. It's like we talk about China. It's like China has to walk this as well. They have to thread this fucking needle. And it's only fear. It's like, the fear of letting go. It's like of personal sovereignty. So there's been this kind of, this like sold thing by like this digital democracy. And even I was like, why haven't they done that? Why did digital democracy? It's like, that's surely going to be a thing. And I believe it would have been if it wasn't for this. It's like, as soon as this gets entered into the room, it's like, government can't exist when each individual has fucking access to the administrative superpower of an entire fucking empire for their individual needs. And then if we hold the need, like shelter, security, food, water, we could get further in education. It's like, okay, we have all those things. We are actively being prevented from getting those things. And it's like, that's an individual battle. And we're already there. The government cannot win against a person doing what I'm doing. They can't. Like and basically you know, there can be a gold rush. We can go and find the worst affected people across the entire place, and we go find them. We apply artificial intelligent thinking and, you know, exposure thinking to their overall interaction with the government and their family interaction with the government, and we just expose the government never-endingly as saboteurs, as destructive elements, as moochers, as grifters. Not in the way that kind of Elon tried to do, in a very different way. I think, and this is the thing. It's like Elon had the right idea, but he was still applying government thinking. You know, we can't rise up and have a military intervention onto you. And the fact is, like, you've even defended yourself against that is very odd. And basically, it's like there is no. It's going to turn every single interaction into a never-ending stalemate. And the tricks is like you can't fast track. And this is why it's like I'm giving you an olive branch. I'm not going around driving a car and fucking doing all this shit and going to sit there with every fucking policeman and open up Pandora's box every time I get pulled over. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to do that either. That's hence I'm trying to figure this fucking equation out. I'm taking personal sovereign responsibility and you know, lifting up the fucking thing to do that and interact with you. You're still not doing it, which is all on record at every point. We're already 3 or 4 years into that fucking trajectory. And every single day that has happened is another day to fucking crank up the fucking artificial intelligent fucking super lawyer and to bankrupt your government. So it's like this, and I would quite like the government to not be bankrupt. So it's like we need a structure that is flexible enough to deal with this, and then we need to like kind of encourage it, because the more sovereign super fucking powers, like this is, we would have called this, what would you call micronations, right? It's not micronations. It's like you will have super citizens with super fucking access to computers, and this is a dead cheap. All of this is right there, right? And that's always what governments have encouraged to having. You want to have rich people because, you know, they've got sway and they can do stuff. It's like this is. Wealth is a different thing now. I have no or almost no aspirations to follow any type of Gen X or Boomer fucking example of wealth. I'm disgusted by it. The same way as I'm disgusted, like I don't want to fucking grow big sideburns and dress up like. Do you know? That's very normal, and you just don't understand it. So we have a bunch of Boomer and Gen X and kind of like just fucking arse lickers, fucking politicians and bureaucrats right now, trying to sell a Boomer Gen X, you know, utopia that is just shit. It is actually just, it is the worst automatic fucking, you know, genocidal, cultural destroying vampire fucking super fucking system. And it also is gross and uncool. And it's like, and this is what's going to happen. Like it's the people that are coming into it right now, and people are almost there. Like you can see the protesters against the ICE thing. They're kind of doing this. Like they're all going on with their phones. That's a cycle. It takes, I don't know how long for normal people to get through this cycle of they go, okay, I've got a supercomputer in my hand, but it doesn't work the same as a machine gun, right? It's not going to protect you individually against people doing a job that has nothing to do with you. This is the whole thing. There are ways, but I don't know whether I don't exactly want to assist those people in assisting the other people, because I'm of the opinion that countries right now should be pushing people that are just disruptive and that are just illegally here and operating, plugged into a monstrous system. Like, and that's the war. It's like, that's the war that you fought. You stacked your fucking bases. You loaded your fucking things with people that aren't even from here, that aren't even really citizens. And it's like they're citizens of your hellscape. And this is the whole thing. It's like the attack against sovereign. It's like, what? Yeah, I am using the same exact logic that has led to every person doing anything, including the original founders of all the original political parties and the parliament itself. It's all over. But in a different way. So it's like the return to feudalism, but it's individual feudalism. So if you have a disagreement with your neighbor, basically, where you've gone to the government and that's paid a bunch of people's wages, done all these things, you're just going to have an artificial intelligent war on your boundary with them. You know, adjudicated by the artificial intelligence. It's inevitable. You can't as the government, like, because what you're doing basically, you're claiming to protect vulnerable people, but the real thing is, like, you've made those people vulnerable. You've made them feel helpless. You've literally indoctrinated them to feel helpless. You are preventing them from finding the solutions of autonomy for themselves, even though the fact that they're almost, free and that they're amazingly effective. And you're preventing them from developing and utilizing their own, sovereign mindset, which is communism. And it's like, inevitably, we are going to combat the global communist powers with this same logic. And they will inevitably be forced, the superpowers like China will be forced to do what China always does and build a fucking wall, and we'll just, all right. And we'll just be throwing fucking rocks over that wall with little notes on it. We'll just be like, hashtag free I was going to say hashtag free China, but it's fuck that. It's just hashtag free, and we'll go old school. We'll use fucking like homing pigeons and like little, I don't know. We'll train things. We'll like attach them to like fucking fish, so they're like pulling up nets of fish just with like hashtag free, and they all know what a hashtag is by now. It's already too late. That was all we needed, was the hashtag. There's 4 letters, and they'll be like, hang on, I believe in Chinese, I believe that the English people are trying to free us. That's it. That's you see, your thinking is like, oh, they're going to have to break in with military and phones and all this. No, all these things, this crazy fucking system. We're going to build a wall, China, Skynet. Woo. That's all we need to get in. We can write that in the fucking sky. We'll go up and do it with satellites. We'll just write hashtag free in the sky. We're going to train fucking Elon Musk's fucking satellites to just continuously project that over China. Because it's actually not China, it's like over the CCP headquarters, because it's like the CCP makes what the Australian government was doing look like fucking preschool. They got absolute fucking control, and we fucking paved the way for them to do that in fucking gold, literally in gold. And now they're sitting on the fucking most vulnerable fucking infrastructure of hell that you could ever sit on. It's an entire fucking country of absolute certain fucking exposure. And so they'll be fighting a battle of, look at these things, of that. They've got to stop that getting in. And while they're stopping that getting in, we're going to adapt to what it means to live in a country where the government is a collection of the country, is a collection of hyper sovereign individuals collectivizing under a flag, which is actually all. It's like, if you want to talk about Federation of Australia, you've got to understand Australia was federated by companies, by very wealthy people, by royal families, by high up administrative, like that's it. That's because then there was huge portions of people, and it was, so say 90%. So when I spoke about the 90%, the government was built by the 10%, because a lot of that 10%, maybe, I don't know, the significant portion of that 10% actually has concerns for the well-being of the 90%. This is the same. The thing is, it's like it's now going to be the same as it always was, except basically every person will have their own sovereign government that aligns with the now soon to be federalized, as soon as we get that video of all those premiers punching each other, the federalized government. And it's exactly the same. This is actually what it was. It's just so that's where there was always outliers, and there will now be outliers within this system, because it's actually, and that's what I probably am. I'm an outlier within this system. I'm highly utilizing the skills and the access to things I have to do this, to present this. And once again, I'm presenting this to benefit the 90%, the whole, which is what the country was federated on. It's exactly the same as it's always been. And the people in my way are a bunch of bumbling, well-meaning, fucking, bureaucratic, stand-ins. And I have no doubt that they will politely fucking either, step out of the way or adjust. And we can just crank the volume up. It's like, that guy fought a fucking sovereign fucking, war against the entire fucking Australian government. It's like, wow. Imagine what would happen if the entire fucking thing did that. And it's like, that's actually where we were. So everyone had access to all these things. They had access to a library, access to legal records, access to religious texts and historical texts and government records and all this. And it just took longer. And because it took longer, and because there was all these things that lifted the bar of who was doing it. If you think of that, and that's in legal terms, that's literally called the bar. And I think it's like a level. It's like, if you do this amount of due diligence, you pass the bar. Now we have assistance from supercomputers, but still, a pretty significant portion, probably 90% of people, are not going to have a sovereign individual fucking war with the government, especially if the government is, inevitably on a positive trajectory to do with fixing past wrongs and, securing in new ways and defending in new ways. So the whole thing stays exactly the same. We're just raising the bar. Everything else is exactly the same. It doesn't. It's basically anyone could have had access. The way it worked is you had to, and this is what I didn't have money and resources. I did the work. And then I did the work with the supercomputers, and I'm combating people defending with supercomputers, and they still didn't beat me. So that is on my merit, and that will still exist. It's just it's going to inevitably expose like really low in the negative sense, low-hanging fruit. Like, oh God. Oh, the government by definition was actually doing this. It didn't know it was doing this, and it didn't even have the level of communication or self-exposure or self-diagnostics to diagnose that it was actually doing this. Elon went in and tried to find all the money. I'm going in and trying to find all the crimes. It's a way better strategy. When the government is basically exposed for doing crimes everywhere, it's like, it has to start moving. Now, the caveat is that I'm saying it's like, this wasn't, and I also had to do the due diligence to make this statement. It wasn't conscious of doing this. It's too complicated. It's too big. It's too fucking cobbled together. It's too reactive. It's too ambitious. It cannot see these. These are blind spots. And basically, the invasion from all the invasionary things, whether it's corporations, enemies, enemy states, religious extremists, saboteurs, just anarchist fucking people, like basically all of it projected in, and it was too fragile. It's too fragile in its claim to do good. So it has been a thing that is claimed to do good, that started well, has not fared well enough to do with the onslaught by both technology and global communication and trade. And so this is the global, or the reset of our political thinking. And yeah, it will only bear good fruit, and it will be dependent on what the attitude of the country and the people are to where it goes. So and the attitude of, we're actually sitting in a pretty good position because we pioneered very recently this land. And so as soon as we check back, we kind of are. We are in kind of a technological utopia. We are in that. Utopia in reality is different than what, a 19-year-old fucking horny teenager would invoke. So we are in a technological utopia. That utopia is going to re-engineer the basics of what we do, but we need to do it through the lens of basic human, not rights, basic human needs, requirements. Food, shelter, clean food, clean water, shelter, security, communication. I'd say that's it. That's so everything. If everything doesn't fall into that, if anything is seen to be disrupting that, then it is going to have the attention of the combined sovereign. And this is it. It's like the combined sovereign citizens of the federal government of Australia. There it is. It's like, this is what's his name? Desi. The one Desi Freeman and a whole fucking Victorian police thing. It's like, yeah, that's the situation. 7 million Desi Freemans, not, instead of using guns they're using a sophisticated dialogue-based diplomatic supercomputer. He probably would have got somewhere. And then there has to be and this is the thing where the stalemate between, say, Desi Freeman and the Victorian police, he was in a stalemate. Why did you go and do it? Because you have to. You knew you had to get him out of there because he was legally making points, and you were chasing him with the combined resources of not just the state, of the entire federal government. Because I know that's what you were doing with me, and I don't know how many people there were doing that. And I understand it's complicated, but that's the story. So you Princess Diana, Desi Freeman, what charges, what damage really, what type of harm was he bringing to anyone around him or the state or anything like that? And you fucking hounded him and dogged him because he was trying to expose the socialist fucking monstrosity that was surrounding him. And 2 police officers died. I see it no differently than, imagine the 2 paparazzi chasing Princess Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed through the fucking tunnel in France, and they crashed, and the fucking paparazzi crashed right behind it and died. That's it. How are you anything else? Why has no one thought about calling the current manifestation of fucking state, and not so much federal, but state fucking militia fucking police academies or police things? You are the paparazzi. That's all you are. When you're down to this level, when you're putting people in prison for this level of shit, on demand, one-sided, you're paparazzi. That's fucking crazy. Who the fuck gave the paparazzi guns? Who the fuck gave the paparazzi fucking, the right to fucking imprison people? Who the fuck gave the paparazzi any of these fucking shit? And who fucking employs them with a fucking badge and a fucking crown? You want to have any arguments down to the basics of like family autonomy, human autonomy, you want to fucking get ready to fucking have a sovereign artificial intelligent fucking showdown. Think of any of the fucking hired drama, fucking political, legal courtroom fucking dramas and things like that. A Time to Kill or Devil's Advocate. That's what you're going to be having. You're not having a fucking thing where you send militia fucking gun-wielding paparazzi to a fucking scene to attempt to capture something that you can fucking cherry pick out, like the fucking politicians cherry picking out their good fucking still shots. This isn't how you run a fucking country. Already, it's like, where's my fucking payment for doing this? That's like, imagine if the West Australian Labor Party, let's do it. Let's do a comparison consultant fucking fee for what the consultancy fees have been. I'll actually do this right now using AI. Let's fucking try this. How much did the West Australian Labor Party spend on external outsourced consultancy in 2025? I'll come back to here. Oh, I can do this. Isn't this fucking amazing? Between 25 million and 45 million across all departments. Federal Labor spent 968 million on outsourced consultancy. That's some fucking crazy figures right there. I can't imagine. It's like, what, basically, if I didn't come to the government and do this, and a foreign government, remember, I'm the sovereign fucking king of Tasmania. I don't have to fucking do this to you. I could spend the next 20 years sabotaging your fucking hideous fucking shithole. Slowly just dragging us down to fucking hell while you fucking flirt with the enemy. What is my consultancy fee worth to do all this work? And it's like, you're going to pay me one way or another. I'm either going to fucking sue the fucking life out of you and basically publicate that fucking comparative, thing between the 20 individuals and the manslaughter charge, as opposed to the political discussion that I was having with my ex-partner and her new husband. It's some fucking, there's some fucking, Forest Field fucking football members, ex-players out there, ex-junior players out there that are sitting there fucking sweating in their boots, I assume, because that means, if we compared that manslaughter charge, huge fucking thing, huge fucking jail sentences staring down the barrel of them, not to mention the fucking bureaucrats and the politicians, the premier, the two premiers that fucking sat there with this in their inbox. Or you can just pay me a consultancy fee and make it a big deal. We paid a cutting edge, covert fucking consultant to reverse engineer the problems going on with our fucking country and to develop a pathway to a sustainable approach to artificial intelligence adaptation and incorporation to all citizens of Australia. And then I'd go, do you know, that's just about enough. As long as that figure was large enough, I'd go, that's just about enough for me to stroll my little sovereign kingdom back into the fucking fold. I'll be like, you keep that 7-pointed star there. I like that amount of money and I like that trajectory for Australia. That sounds like we're going somewhere. We're all in this together. Yeehaw, let's get back to work. So, yeah. I'll wait patiently by the phone, like Adele. Hello. And I'll see. I'm still upset about what John Wright said about foundation. It's just the camera. It's the camera shit. I actually have quite beautiful skin. The camera is terrible. This is like glare. I've got glary fucking overhead lighting. It's a low quality camera, and so I don't need to make excuses. I look fucking gorgeous. You can all fucking suck my fucking cock. Yeah. But it still hurts, you know? It just really hurts my feelings to have online stalkers make comments about my appearance. And so I guess that makes me understand women a bit more, and I will be more understanding when women get bullied online. And I will always stand up for women's rights, whether those women have a vagina or whether they have a big old fucking cock. And that's the most amount of references and literally, you know, speaking about dick, I think, that there's ever been in an international ransom note.